We are live. Good evening, Team Bellamy fans. Let me check my trusty phone to make sure we are in fact live. Say hi to the good people.
Hi.
That was awesome. My channel. There's us. And we're on. Cool. All right. So, we have once again completed the 75 hard challenge. And we wanted to get here just like we did last year, right? We did this last year. So for those of you that don't know, 75 hard is the initial phase of the Live Hard challenge. Most people know the first 75 days. It is tough. We should turn off the dishwasher. Keep talking. Tell them about the challenge.
No, I'm gonna let him talk. He likes to talk.
So you're just letting dead air happen. That was it. Okay. So 75 hard is the first 75 days of the Live Hard challenge. For 75 days, you have to do a handful of things. Let me get my agenda here so I'm not just talking out of turn. For 75 days, you have to go with no alcohol.
Check.
You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction, physical book, generally, although, you know, ebooks are okay. It can't be like trash ebooks stuff. And so we did some kind of different things. I read a lot of business books because we're getting into the business world. My lovely wife here is finishing her degree. Sorry if this is loud in the microphone. I'm just arranging the stuff here. There we go. Wife here is finishing her degree, so a lot of her reading was academic reading. That is acceptable, at least by our definition, and who's going to tell us off? I mean, Andy Frisella is not here to yell at us, so we should be okay.
And it's a lot of reading.
It is. Quite a bit. You are taking more than a full load of classes, which is insane. But so you gotta read every day. You have to, the thing that most people know about 75 hard is you have to exercise twice a day. 45 minutes for each exercise session. They cannot be consecutive. You can't do any shenanigans like, let me go exercise at 6 in the morning, get done at 6:45, rest for 10 minutes, go back out again, knock it all out in one shot. It has to be, no kidding, an exercise session, go back to your day, do other stuff, and then later on do another exercise session. One of those exercise sessions has to be completely outdoors. Mm-hmm. Now there's no compromise in the challenge. However, shenanigans, there's Abe Diaz. There's no compromise in the challenge. However, we do one thing where if it is good weather, like there's no consideration that we're not getting out of the rain, we're not getting out of the heat or humidity or anything. There's nothing air conditioned about our garage gym. It is the exact same temperature that it is outside with the door open. If there is no precipitation or like glaring sunlight, we do allow ourselves to lift in the garage and generally do some kind of inside-outside HIIT or CrossFit type workout like in the garage. Like we're not moving the weights out of the garage. I can't move the squat rack into the driveway. So we allow that, but everything else is, one workout is completely outdoors. Generally, we would just go running. And we didn't have it too bad this time. There was only a few times we ran in some really bad weather.
Like this tropical storm this weekend?
And the one before that, a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think you ran in that one. I went running in that one. Oh, okay. But okay, so that is the physical training requirement, which most people understand. And they think that 75 hard is a PT or a physical challenge. It's absolutely not. It is much more of a mental challenge than it is physical. You can get through 2 workouts a day. You can go spin on the bike for 45 minutes and then come back and do a brisk walk. It's not, you won't be killing yourself. You have to drink a gallon of water a day, not 1 ounce, not 1 drop less. With the diet I was on, that was actually not difficult at all for me because I basically cut out almost all liquids other than water anyway. Mm-hmm. So that was the last time we did it. That was a bit more of a challenge. Wasn't a challenge for me this time. But the water, and then what am I forgetting? You have to adhere to a diet. It can be a diet of your choice, but it must be a legitimate diet. You cannot make up the hot dog or the Snickers diet. There can't be any fast food involved.
No Snickers?
Yeah. So in other words, like it's got to be something. It doesn't have to be a diet like I'm trying to lose weight, but it must be a regimented eating plan. And it has to be leading to whatever your goals are. So if your goals are to get yoked, then you eat to get yoked. If your goals are to lose weight, then you eat to lose weight. And so those are the 5 requirements really of the first phase. Now, as you go through subsequent phases, then things build. There are requirements that get added on.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning to do the rest of the phases up to a certain point, and then we're going to start over again next year, like early next year. So we're probably not going to finish the Live Hard year. But anyway, the 75 days is the toughest. It is the initial phase. It is the longest phase. All the other phases are 30 days. So you kind of ping pong back on and off.
And stuff gets added to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk about that maybe later. But for right now, I also added on, part of my diet was I decided not to drink coffee for 75 days. So I essentially had no caffeine in my diet whatsoever for 75 days. Paula's here. What's up, Paula? Happy Monday. So this morning I had my first cup of coffee in 2.5 months. And once I was done with that coffee, I took off barefoot and ran 4 miles at like personal record pace, feeling like the Bionic Man. I came back, and before I even took a shower, I was standing in my office wearing nothing but a towel at a whiteboard and just writing down the 10,000 ideas that I come up with while running those 4 miles. So I've never done crack or cocaine before, but I'm pretty sure that might be what it feels like, because I felt like Superman, both physically and mentally. So hopefully that lasts. Maybe I can kick coffee for a little while and then just bring it back in when I need it.
I don't have that problem. I don't drink coffee.
It doesn't like the taste. But anyway, first things first. We have now described the challenge for the good people. Thank you, good people, for being here. Paula says Team Bellamy rocks. I agree. We love it. So we have some libations here. I have chosen, a couple of weeks ago, I went to the store and I picked out my celebration beers. So I got a 6-pack of my favorite Bell's Oberon, thanks to the doc from my old unit, Kilo 312, that put me onto this. He was from Michigan. I'm convinced this is the only good thing that comes from the state of Michigan is Bell's beer. So that's what I'm going to break my alcohol fast of 75 days with. I also picked a 6-pack of fine Oktoberfest beers, which I love. Here's Sam Adams' great standby, so we'll have that on standby. But without further ado, let's shall we break the seal?
And since I don't drink beer, I've got my wine.
Yeah. The fine Castello del Poggio.
And not many people know this, but this is actually Olive Garden's table wine. And I only know that because my daughter used to work there.
Yes. Cheers, Jenny.
It's
Jenny did not go on a no alcohol
It's actually National Daughter's
challenge.
Day today.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
You almost. Oh. Wow. That was going to be a massive party foul. We're going to have to start another 75 days. Man, that is good. Oberon. Yeah, it's pretty good. I've even got it in check it out, my Bell's Brewery glass. Eh? All right. Ohio talking about Michigan. Oh, it is not limited to college football at all. It is a full state. Now, I will say, there are some many beautiful parts of Michigan. I understand. I've never seen most of them. I think the farthest north I've ever gone was I did a church retreat at Hillsdale College once in high school. Never been up to the Upper Peninsula. I hear the UP is gorgeous. Put-in Bay, I hear, is a place in Michigan. My family used to go there.
Put-in-Bay's Ohio.
Or is it? It is? Okay. Well, screw it. I'm wrong. Anyway, I hear there are lovely places in Michigan once you get past that whole
Mackinac
mass
Island.
of garbage that is Detroit and Ann Arbor and all of those everywhere like such as. So anyway, drink delicious alcohol. That was number 1 on the agenda. Here's the agenda. Okay, number 1, drink delicious alcohol. And then above that I put, okay, talk about the challenge first. So, delicious alcohol. First alcohol in 75 days. Number 2 on the agenda, what does that say, sweetheart?
Eat sweets.
Eat sweets indeed. Okay. So I have been on, for 75 days, I was on basically a keto diet, but for the first 30 days, I kicked it up a notch. And it was something called the Lion Diet. And the Lion Diet is where you literally eat what?
Meat.
Nope.
Red or beef.
Beef, water, and salt. Now you can also eat lamb or bison. Something to do with how they digest food, and from those 3 meats you can get all of the nutrients that you need. 30 days I felt amazing. Now the first week was horrible. First week I was getting headaches. It was nasty. But as I flushed out all of the glycogen and all of the microbes and everything and the sugar out of my body. Oh, did you want to start with the carrot cake or do you want to start with
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So we went to Publix yesterday and we got 1 dessert each. We were going to get 1 dessert to share, but we couldn't decide between these 2. I'm opening the wrong side. So I love carrot cake and we love cheesecake, and you love carrot cake too. So we've got a pumpkin cheesecake from Publix, well, a slice of pumpkin cheesecake from Publix, and a slice of carrot cake. So, eating delicious sweets, shall we?
Sure. We have to save some for Owen.
We do. We're never going to finish this. Probably blow our stomachs after maybe half the piece.
I don't know.
Cheers.
We're not gonna drink.
Oh, were we supposed to touch? We did that with the booze. There we go. I have to dink it and sink it.
Whatever.
I do love some carrot cake. All right. I'll switch.
Yeah.
Anybody that talks trash about carrot cake, uncultured swine. Carrot cake is the bomb. Matter of fact, sometimes that's really the only good use of carrots, I think. That's good stuff. Get a bit of the crust. All right. Okay. Y'all didn't come here to watch us eat. That was amazing. We'll probably have a little more later. All right. So, you're right, Paula. Pumpkin cheesecakes and maize balls. Okay, so what's next? Drink delicious alcohol. Cheers.
Books.
Yeah, number 3 on the agenda is books. Now, I don't think you brought yours down. Well, you do have I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
All my books are online.
Well, yeah, most of hers. Now, she did, while we were traveling, you did read I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I don't know if you ever finished it because
No.
then the semester started.
Yep.
But, okay, so as far as I can recall, these are the books that I read during the 75 days. So we have, the Lean Startup I was actually halfway through when we started the challenge. And it had just been that one, everybody's got that one book that just sits on their nightstand and glares at them. And they're like, what are you looking at? And it's like, finish me, seriously, you loser, finish this book. And so this thing was sitting on my nightstand for, I don't think I started reading it at the old house, but I've definitely had it for months. And she gets really mad because I have in past times had massive stacks of books on my nightstand. I'm not quite as bad anymore. But anyway, I finished this one. I think this was the first one. Now these two, I know I did content about this. I had Lean Startup and Steal the Show were part of if you know Ben Meir, he's a content creator on LinkedIn. You don't know. But
And neither do my Facebook friends.
probably not. They're not talking anyway. But do you want to check on your phone and make sure it's going through on Facebook? Let's just check.
It just was
All right,
on.
good. So Steal the Show was recommended on that Ben Meir list of 10 books to replace an MBA, which I don't have an MBA and I never will. So I was like, hey, why not read the books instead? Shout out to Abe Diaz. He has an MBA. So I read this and it was good. It's a good book on public speaking. I read this because I picked it up on a whim at an airport. This Dale Carnegie book, How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence People by Public Speaking, is twice as good as Steal the Show. If you want a good book on public speaking, this right here, it is timeless. It is better. They're both good books.
See how good he is at public speaking?
Uh-huh. I actually don't. I need to read it again, and I need to apply more of the concepts in there because it's just mind-blowing the amount of stuff that's in there. This one here, I know I did a YouTube video about this. I did posts on LinkedIn about this. AI and Data Literacy by Bill Schmarzo. Love this one. Knocked this one out on a trip to Ohio where we went to Cedar Point, which is another reason why Ohio is better than Michigan, because Michigan does not have anything compared to Cedar Point. Cedar Point is better. But anyway, AI and Data Literacy, awesome book. You can see how much I kind of trashed it with the tabs and the markups, and sign of a great book. And now I'm finishing this one. Had this recommended by a guy at Toastmasters, which is an organization where I go to learn, again, to be a better public speaker. But the guy has a great YouTube channel, and he's building a business much as we're trying to do, and this is a good one. And I just today received the sequel to this, is the 3-book series, so I've got book number 2. Love it. Recommend it. I hear people talking trash about this. I'm digging it, and I'm going to implement a lot of the stuff in it. Okay, so those are the books. I used to go long stretches of time without ever finishing a book. And for long stretches of time in the Marine Corps, the only books that I would read were the ones I was required to read for the Marine Corps. I just had no time for anything else. So I'm loving the fact that this challenge has got me back into reading books. It's been a long time coming for me doing that. Hey, what's item number 1 on the agenda? Drink delicious alcohol. Cheers. All right. So, books. What's number 4 on the agenda?
I can't read your writing.
Yeah, neither can I. It says questions. All right. What's the first question I'm going to ask you?
I don't know.
I asked your permission to ask you before we started.
Oh, how much weight I lost?
How much weight did you lose?
23 pounds.
23 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Okay. I lost, it's tough to say because I didn't weigh myself before we started. I weighed myself after the first workout, and I think we started with a pretty rough workout. Anyway, I lost about 20 pounds. Lost on the Lion diet, I lost like 15 pounds in about 2 weeks, I think.
By the way, I did try the Lion diet for like 3 days. I only lasted 3 days because
No discipline.
beef, salt, and water, like, you don't want to be around me on day 3. So I had to add.
I was a disagreeable fellow myself.
Yeah, so I had to add like a salad. I still tried to stick to the, obviously the water and the beef. But I might have had to have a little bit of rice here or there, or I had to mix it up with something besides the beef because you don't want to be around me when that's all I'm eating.
No comment.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah.
Don't ask my children.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I'm down. I've always considered my kind of ideal weight to be about 185, and I dropped down to that quickly because I was a little over 200, which is north of where I like to be just ever. I like to be 190 or less. So 185 is pretty ideal. 185 is the weight at which I feel like I can run real distance. So half marathons. Toying with the idea of doing a full marathon, it's just really tough to find time to train for that, especially with all the other stuff we got going on. But at 185 or below, I feel like I can get there. So, and also another thing that I set for myself was I completely changed my running style. So I started reading a book, didn't finish it, so I don't have it out here, but it's a sequel to Born to Run. And it's a book all about barefoot running and the, kind of the tactics and strategy for barefoot running, and it talks about increasing your cadence. So you're supposed to run at 180 cadence, which is uncomfortably fast for foot strikes when you first do it, Now I'm quite comfortable doing it, but it took me a long time to get faster doing that. But I did drop weight very quickly, and you just get a ton of. And I'm in a step challenge now at work, which is funny because I'm kind of dominating the step challenge because you just 180, you're just like as you're running. So anyway, yeah, cool. That was question number 0 because I thought about that after I started making the list. Question number 1, well, I wanted to verify that you were okay with it. What was the worst time you had to pee, PT, or the worst circumstances? Worst time you had to pee would be the gross. Worst time you had to exercise.
I don't know. I enjoy working out, so I guess it just doesn't really matter.
Well, last time I was still working, I had my office in Jacksonville. And I was working some, not late nights, but definitely wasn't, I was coming home like 6 or 7 o'clock sometimes. And there were a lot of times where I didn't get to the gym till 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I think there was just maybe once or twice where either we were at ECU or somewhere.
Yeah.
Or, we were traveling, but we planned out when we went to Ohio, like to stop halfway and do a hike.
That was fun.
Right before we went into Virginia, we stopped at
Pilot Mountain
and did a hike. So we did that on the way there and on the way back. And we kind of, when we don't have the dogs traveling with us, we kind of do that. Like I think one time when my mom passed away, or I went up to Ohio when she was sick, at the beginning of the year, I stopped at Prince William Park. Misty, I miss you. And
that was our stomping grounds in Virginia.
Yeah, and
wonderful trails.
Ran a couple of the trails there. So, and I kind of tried to do that. Oh, I did do that on the way back. So now we've kind of, because it's a almost 12-hour drive, we kind of take that little hour break halfway so we can at least work out. So that was kind of a struggle. And I think was it the last time we were in Ohio, just trying to make sure we got 2 workouts in because we had first started the challenge when we went there. So, and that was a challenge, I think. But normally it doesn't bother me when we work out, except like if we're traveling or doing something where it's late or we're trying to figure out how to get in. Yeah. But we manage.
I definitely had one late night. I probably got up to the gym at like 11, but I managed to not do that too much this time. So we settled into a pretty good routine where other than a couple of mornings where my teaching schedule didn't permit, we exercised first thing in the morning religiously. Mm-hmm. And then we started, now that I'm working with Ultrix and I have the teaching schedule that a lot of times was early morning and then afternoons were pretty much clear, she would come home and we would just go for the walk. And that was another thing that we committed to in this was last time we did this, the first time around, this served to keep us apart. And this time we agreed right at the start that we weren't interested in that and that we would do whatever was required to do at least one exercise session a day together. And so our afternoon session was almost always a 45-minute walk. Now, in order to get exercise out of it, I put on a weight vest. It's plenty of exercise for her because she has short little legs.
And I got to keep up with him.
Yes. But I would put on at first 20 and then now it's 30 and I'll probably bump it up again, weight vest and a ruck with a weight in it to try and get some PT out of it. So we did that. Okay. Yeah, worst circumstances, definitely. Trips to Ohio were rough. And I think, that previous tropical storm, that was pretty nasty weather I went out running in. But
I actually ran on the beach and had the sand and the rain pelting me.
This last one, yeah.
This last one on Saturday. But I was running with the wind to my back and it was like pushing me down the beach. I think it was probably the fastest I've ever ran.
Yep. Then when you turn around and come back, it's
down to the pier.
Okay. What was one time somebody looked at you like you were crazy for whatever it was you were doing?
none of stuff like that. I mean, I know people look at you like the guy's walking barefoot with a pack on.
Every day. Yeah, I was just thinking yesterday there was like a girls lacrosse travel team at the beach, and we were coming back up the beach at the end of our walk, all sweaty and bedraggled. And I've got my weight vest and my ruck on, and walking barefoot up the beach, and got some long looks there. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I
usually
don't
when I
notice
get them,
stuff like
or when I run barefoot a couple times a week. Get some funny looks doing that.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right.
I don't really care. Like, you get out there and do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the worse the weather, the more you want to get out there because you know you're going to be the only one out there paying the price. Yeah. And Andy Frisella talks about that too. He's the founder of the challenge. And when he established the challenge, he was like, you're going to look forward to bad weather because you know you'll be the only one out there getting after it. So, all right, name a time when you wanted to quit.
That one time in Ohio, you wanted to quit, and I'm like, we're not quitters.
I wanted to quit because I was mad at you.
I know.
You were throwing a temper tantrum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't always.
That's generally why
Tem-
we
temper
do quit
tantrums.
or B, threaten to quit
Yeah, you wanted.
because you're
to
having a
quit.
temper tantrum.
And I said, no, we're not quitting.
No.
Like, we're not quitters.
Well, we actually did the first time around. We did. So we launched this like, what was it, in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started in June.
but
We made it like 10 days, and then it was like,
the kids
are we really going
wanted
to do this
something.
through Independence Day and my birthday? And yeah, the kids were around. It was tough.
Graduation,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah.
So we made it 10 days, and then we agreed mutually to call it quits and restart it in July after Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually started on July 12th this last time, but we had a previous attempt that was, I think, stopped at like 10 days.
Yeah, 10 or 15.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 15 days.
Okay. How many times did you get mad at me for making you do the challenge again?
0.
Oh, come on.
No, 0.
Okay. How did this one compare to last year?
I think I did better on like my eating choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we had a little disagreement about that earlier on. You remember?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a somewhat heated conversation about what constitutes a diet. Or maybe that was like on the first go round.
I think it was on the first.
That was on the first go round. Yeah, because you were pretty serious on
we were
this
talking about
one.
like desserts or something.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, I don't consider, like, I'm changing parts of my diet that, well, you know, you don't want to totally, to me, I feel like I don't want to totally give up certain aspects of what I eat because, you know, like today, oh my God, I haven't had dessert in 75 days, but, and you know, this dessert's in front of me.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna
I
have another
had like
piece.
a couple pieces and I'm okay with it. Like, I started to buy those small little blue, is it Bluebell?
I think so.
Like ice cream cups. Not this time, like I haven't had any of those in 75 days, but after the last year, like I started getting those instead of a half gallon of ice cream because, you know, you put more in a bowl than that little cup. And I was satisfied with that little cup. Like, it satisfies me. And so, like, I've tried to change different things about, you know, like this time around I stopped eating, I had no desserts whatsoever after eating a meal at dinner time. And then, like, I don't want to go back to that, but then I don't want to feel guilty if I maybe one night decide I want one of those little cups of ice cream. Like, I don't need to have it every day, but maybe one night I got a sore throat. It might feel good on my throat. So it's just that those things, like now that I've changed some of the things I've done on this diet this time around, I want to continue like working. Like I wanted to lose 26 pounds because it would have got me to like a really
To an
good spot.
arbitrary number that is
Yeah.
ultimately meaningless.
It's
but
meaningless. It's meaningful.
but it
to
was your
me.
goal, yes.
Right. So it was my goal. So I was 3 pounds short, and so I still want to get to a certain number to feel like healthy and to be where I was at when I lost all my weight, after surgery. So I think I can get there. It's only like 7 pounds.
Yeah. So Paul asked a question. She said, what was one thing about the last 75 that you enjoyed? What was one thing about this 75? So I feel like, let me go in true quiz show fashion, let me go last part first. The one thing, and we've already mentioned it, the thing about this 75, and this was my answer to the previous question, is I valued the fact that our relationship got better through this one
Yeah.
because we chose to spend time together. And we, even in the mornings, we mostly PT'd either together or just at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously we don't run the same speeds. We don't do,
I'm
you're not
fast.
in there benching. So we weren't always doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And when we were in the garage together, you complained that I was dominating the squat rack and the
Yep,
bench.
He does.
Anyway, that's because I'm a man. But anyway,
He
so
thinks he's
that was
special.
one thing I enjoyed about this 75 compared to last was we spent more time together
Mm-hmm.
and we made that conscious decision from the get-go.
The walks were good. Very healthy. Lots of good, healthy conversation. So that
Yeah.
was probably a good goal to have for next time too.
And also I feel like we got more comfortable just kind of being quiet together.
Yeah.
Just because there were times when we went out and we just weren't talking just because it was like we were just enjoying the exercise. So one thing about the last 75 that I enjoyed, it was new that time.
Yeah.
And I was determined to go out and just crush it like every workout. So I feel like I broke down a little bit more, but I definitely feel like I got stronger through that one. But really that one was necessary for me because I'd gotten, what I considered overweight after retiring.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not super happy with my physical condition. I'd actually was not in great condition at my retirement. But I definitely kind of let myself go afterwards. So I needed something to sort of snap myself back. And so that was a great thing about the first one was it was the first time, it was new, it was, I was determined to just plow through it like at max speed. But definitely this time was like, okay, I'm not going to do 75 days of an hour and a half of non-work time away from my wife again. Because that was stressful last time. So appreciate the question. Okay. And obviously, compared to last year, I really felt like doing that diet was a good challenge for me. Dropping the coffee was good because I like to do that every once in a while to prove that I'm still capable, that I'm not a hopeless addict to the caffeine monster. So that was good. What was the hardest food to give up for you? I know you said the hardest aspect. Somebody asked, I think Liz Hartman asked like a month ago, what was the hardest aspect? You said giving up alcohol, which is funny because you drink very little.
Did I?
But definitely, yeah, that was like immediate. You said that.
Okay.
And yeah, so she said giving up alcohol was the hardest thing. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember.
Right
I'd
here.
say probably adhering to the diet.
My mamacita chips,
Chips and
my
salsa.
salsa.
Giving it up. Yeah. They're still in there though.
I know.
Yeah, so one thing that we talked about sustaining going forward, because at the end we started having conversations about, okay, what are we going to keep doing? Because there is another phase that we want to do. We're probably going to do it. I have to go to England for a week. And then once I come back, I think we're going to start it mid-October and then get it done before Thanksgiving. Because, yeah, we're not doing a challenge over Thanksgiving. We're going to be eating and drinking whatever the hell we want. So we're planning to do the next 30-day phase between like mid-October to mid-November. But between now and then, we were talking about what do we want to sustain in the interim. I said most of the diet, And we talked about like our approach to sweets because that is, you know, sugar, refined sugar is the biggest. Refined sugar and corn syrup are the two bugaboos in alcohol. Because that's essentially just simple sugars anyway. And I basically said, I don't want to drink or eat dessert unless it's a special occasion or some kind of landmark, like the kids are home, we're all eating something together, we're out to eat, we're all, you know, there's some kind of special thing that they cook. I'm good with that. But other than that, I think you're with me on this, that we want to give up the every night dessert. Like that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all the questions I have. So I actually tallied some of my data because I'm me and that's what I do. Yep. All right. So total distance covered for me. I downloaded everything off of my Samsung.
I wasn't this fancy, trust me.
It would have taken forever for me to try and do it for you too. Okay, so distance covered meters, 592,000 meters, which is 592 kilometers, which is roughly 367 miles I covered. I burned about 72,000 calories, which seems low.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started kind of doing it like what was it per workout, and I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. But like a weight workout, usually the watch doesn't do you any favors on a weight workout. Like a HIIT workout, it'll be like, you burned 300 calories. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like I'm having a heart attack, and I've been like crushing myself for 45 minutes. And there's no way it's 300, but whatever. I exercised for 8,176 minutes, which is 136.27 hours. And steps, which I just calculated right before we came on here. What do you think? 2.78 million steps.
Wow.
For 75 days. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I probably did a little more than he did.
Uh-huh. Anyway, only because your legs are short, maybe. Cool. So those are the digits. There's only one item left on the agenda.
It's going to be my favorite part of the evening.
So the history of the beard is I have never grown a beard before. We got a lull. I've never grown a beard before. Even like 24 years in the Marine Corps, even going on leave, I would go without a shave for a day, tops, maybe two. And when I got out, I kept shaving every day. And then doing the challenge, I just felt like, you know, going once, stopping, going again. I felt like I really need to. I've been through some, you know, kind of changes in life. We're working on the business. We're transitioning some things. And I felt like I needed something symbolic to kind of power through it. When I got ready to... Okay, don't give that face. When I got ready to enlist and ship to Parris Island, I had long hair. I'm talking like down to my shoulders. And, you know, when I enlisted, they had all the jokes like, yeah, long-haired hippies coming in to join the Marine Corps. And I've at some point, my motivation was kind of getting a little iffy. And I decided I needed something to signify my resolve. And so one night, I was just like, nope, I'm committed to this. And I went into the bathroom and shaved my head. And I remember my mother coming home was like, what did you do? And I wore a ball cap pretty much 24/7 back then. I had a ball cap on, but you could tell, like, you know, my hair used to be like shoved down out the back of the ball cap and kind of going out to the sides. So she could tell there was nothing left. And I took the ball cap off and gone. So to me, I needed something like that to get me through this. Now, I did shave for her high school reunion. So this is not 75 days worth of growth. This is about 30, 35 days? This is maybe half of the challenge right here.
No, I think less than half.
Yeah, so this is about a month.
It was in August, the beginning
Yeah.
of August.
But anyway, so the agreement was, and talking to some friends this morning, they were like, no, don't shave it. Everybody wants me to keep it. And I said, the only vote that matters is this one here. Happy wife, happy life. So as much as I do enjoy it, it is super wiry and kind of, I'm getting used to it. I like the look.
It is like.
She said that kissing me
It's
is
a mess.
unpleasant, which
Yes.
we'll see if she maintains that after the beard's gone. But anyway. All right, it's going away. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. What do I do with the towels?
What? You don't need a towel.
Okay.
I don't even know how to do this.
Just flip the little switch.
Really? You're gonna make me do this?
Yeah,
Like
you're the one that
this?
wants it gone.
Underneath first?
Mm-hmm.
Am I hurting you?
No, there's a guard on it. Just felt the locks, like. Okay, you're gonna make it look weird. Why don't you just do the neck first? You sure you want it all on?
Yes.
How bad is it look on this side? Look at it. She looks swiped all the way through. Back.
I don't know what? You know,
You
I've
do
never
the
done
neck
this before.
first. You've never watched me shave?
No.
Getting all over my nice 5'11" shorts.
We're going on the other side.
You don't have to be all dainty about it. It's all going. I was joking this morning she was gonna try and cut my throat and get my life insurance policy. I don't think it pays in case of homicide.
I'm not done yet.
That's why I put the guard on it so he couldn't injure me. End of an era. Such a shame.
Look at all that gray.
Makes me look distinguished. I look childish without it. Don't be shy, get in there.
I don't want to hurt you.
It's not gonna hurt. So you make it look dumb.
What? You're gonna have to fix it.
All I see is gray hair just exploding in front of my face. Oh, the soul patch is gone. That's my favorite part. You should have left me with a Fu Manchu or something. Like a wider mustache. Got some in my mouth. Here. Need some more beer to wash it down. Look at the hair all going on. Alright.
I do not know what I'm doing.
I know you don't. I'll slip and get the head hair. I don't have any to spare. Look at that. Doesn't that look elegant and distinguished?
No.
I grew my mustache once in Afghanistan. It never got anywhere near this long. I think we had a mustache March Madness challenge. Anyway, it's fine. I love it. Abe is probably sticking it out. He was grossed out. Lost the guard.
Broke it.
No, just the guard came up. Alright, you're good. Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish up. Alright, that's good enough for now. I'll go clean it up later. Alright, you coming back into frame?
I am in frame.
There we go. Alright, one more toast.
One more toast.
I mean, I didn't cool this one off for nothing. It's actually not that bad. Maybe I'll just leave it like that.
No.
Switching from rockets to guns, as the English would say. Actually, that usually means you're switching from beer to shots. We're not doing that. I did get some nice cucumber lime seltzer water for to mix with my gin. I am a gin enthusiast all of a sudden. Never thought I'd get to that old. Anyway, all right. So now we're on to the Oktoberfest. Look at that delightful color. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
One glass is it for you?
Yeah. I have to work tomorrow.
Look, I look like I'm 12 again. Okay. All right, folks. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We're at 45 minutes. We have covered all of the agenda. All of my data has been reported. I have asked you all of my fun questions. And I've talked about all my books and all the other stuff. Now that I look like a
Human being.
teenager again,
Sort of.
I think I'm ready.
He's
I'm going
got
to
work
shock
to do.
everybody at work tomorrow. Shock everybody. Alrighty. Hey, appreciate the people hanging out here. Those that humored the YouTube channel, the Facebook channel, and everything in between. So, everybody, we love you. Thanks for supporting Team Bellamy. Thanks for listening to us talk about our challenge and everything that you do for us. All right. You good? Any
Yep,
parting
good.
shots?
Thank you.
Last words. Go Browns. Go Buckeyes. Can't believe they both won this weekend. It's a dang
Victory
miracle.
Monday.
All right. Talk to you folks later.